It's time to take a look at what's happening around Wyoming for Tuesday, January 28th. I'm Wendy Kaur, bringing you headlines from the Cowboy State Daily Newsroom, brought to you by Visit Casper. Visit Casper invites you to come enjoy the Casper International Film Festival, January 31st through February 2nd. A broad range of films from local and international filmmakers will be shown. Learn more and get your tickets at visitcasper.com. The Wyoming legislature is currently considering a bill that would restrict Wyoming's investment managers from investing in any company that supports environmental, social, and governance, or ESG, policies. Cowboy State Daily's Leah Wolfson reports that although both State Treasurer Kurt Meyer and Secretary of State Chuck Gray oppose ESG, they expressed significantly different opinions about House Bill 80 and ESG on Cowboy State Daily's Morning Show with Jake on Monday.
When you peel past the surface, Meyer is definitely more agnostic on the topic than Chuck Gray. Meyer kind of believes in taking a hands-off approach to it and just kind of focusing on what makes the state most money possible, whereas Gray is totally in support of taking a hardline stance against ESG and sacrificing money if it needs to, as he believes it in the long run will decimate Wyoming.
The ESG policy as proposed is already enforced under current state rule, but the bill would codify it into law. Nearly 50 people were nabbed in an early morning raid at a private party in the Denver metro area Sunday morning, including illegal immigrants with suspected ties to a Venezuelan gang. Cowboy State Daily's Jen Coker reports that the raid also included the seizure of drugs, cash, and weapons.
They arrested 49 people. Of those 49, 41 were illegal immigrants. And an unknown number also had ties to the TDA or Tren de Aragua gang. They weren't releasing the numbers of gang members or suspected gang members. They also seized unknown quantities of drugs, and that included cocaine, crack cocaine, and something called pink cocaine. They also seized guns as well as cash.
Sunday's bust culminated from a months-long investigation that began last August and is part of the agency's ongoing efforts to target cartel drug operations throughout the country, as well as in Wyoming. A Wyoming doctor urged state lawmakers Monday to pass a bill preventing doctors from being fired or stripped of their licenses for doing what he did, prescribing ivermectin and hydroxychloroquine to COVID-19 sufferers. If it becomes law, House Bill 164 would block employers from firing doctors, pharmacists, and other prescribers who prescribe drugs to patients for off-label uses. That's according to Cowboy State Daily's Claire McFarland.
Ivermectin is the easy example because it was spoke to prescribe off-label for COVID during COVID. And there was a push against that, certainly nationally. And we did see doctors penalized either for or after doing that, including one in Wyoming who talked to the committee and said, look, I was unexpectedly fired and I thought the treatment was working and I was watching it work in my patients.
The House Labor, Health, and Social Services Committee did advance House Bill 164 on a 7-1 vote on Monday. 2 Wyoming Department of Transportation snowplow trucks were struck and damaged in southeast Wyoming this weekend, taking them off the highways during a snowstorm. And a sander was also damaged in one of the crashes. Cowboy State Daily's Andrew Rossi reports that there have been 9 snowplow strikes in Wyoming so far this winter, resulting in totaled plows and extensively damaged commercial vehicles.
There's 22 YDOT snowplow trucks covering the Laramie area. 3 of those trucks were out of commission as of Monday because they had sustained some sort of damage. 22 plows in the Laramie area, that sounds like a lot, but 3 trucks down for a period of days, that's 14% of YDOT's truck fleet and their workforce in that area that's not clearing the roads at the time when it's needed most. People should really internalize that because it does have an impact on their travel and safety.
Collisions with plow trucks can cause tremendous logistical issues for YDOT and the Wyoming Highway Patrol. If a driver sees a snow cloud hurtling towards them, they should anticipate the snowplow behind it and drive accordingly. I'll be back with more news in just 20 seconds.
When we say community is the heart of Hilltop, we're talking about a team of bankers committed to improving the place we call home. A team that shows up every day to help businesses thrive and gives back to our neighbors through time, attention, and service. We're inspired by the way our bankers give back because that's one of the many qualities that makes us truly a community bank. Hilltop Bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
Well, despite former Wyoming Congresswoman Liz Cheney receiving a pardon from former President Joe Biden during his final hours in office, presidential pardons come with the caveat that they remove Fifth Amendment privileges for the recipient. So if she gets subpoenaed, Cheney would likely have to testify before a new U.S. House subcommittee that's investigating the events that took place before and after January 6, 2021. Cowboy State Daily's Leah Wolfson reports that a subcommittee member has said that it is likely to happen.
Representative William Timmons, a Republican from South Carolina, said that all pardoned January 6th committee members should expect to get a subpoena soon from this new subcommittee. What's interesting about the Constitution is that if someone gets pardoned by a president, it removes their Fifth Amendment privileges. So if Cheney is subpoenaed by this committee, she will have to testify because she is pardoned. It's kind of an interesting loophole, if you will, in the law.
Cheney has consistently defended her work on the January 6th committee and never publicly requested a pardon from Biden or said she wouldn't testify on the topic in the future. A proposal to allow landowners to put their hunting tags up for sale could essentially make hunting in Wyoming the sport of kings. That's what opponents of Senate File 118 told Outdoors reporter Mark Hines. Under current regulations, the landowner may not put their tags up for sale. Senate File 118 would change the regulations, allowing landowners to put their tags up for sale, so long as those tags haven't already been issued to a family member.
If you own enough of a certain type of property, that does provide food, shelter, and water for wildlife, the Game and Fish wants to give something back in return for you having provided that habitat for the wildlife. The landowner, they can apply for up to 2 tags per species for elk, deer, turkey, or antelope every year as these landowner tags, and they can either keep the tags themselves and hunt with those tags on their property, or they can transfer them to an immediate family member. But a lot of people are balking. If we allow them to put these things up for sale for anybody, that's going to basically turn hunting into a rich man's sport, where whoever can tempt the landowner with the biggest price tag for their hunting tag will get exclusive access.
But an agricultural spokesperson countered that allowing landowners more discretion in how they transfer those tags to other people would be a just reward for their contributions to wildlife conservation. Wyomingites have long known Republican Senator Cynthia Lummis as the crypto queen for her support of the digital asset sector, but now she's become crypto queen of the nation. Lummis is set to chair the nation's very first digital asset subcommittee, and she told Cowboy State Daily's Renee Jean she's planned an aggressive agenda for her newly minted panel.
She's already introduced some legislation in the previous year related to crypto and digital assets, so she's really going to be able to hit the ground running with some of that. A lot of it is pulling on Wyoming's framework. Wyoming has invested many, many hours in creating a regulatory framework for digital assets that had kind of run aground with the SEC cracking down on all crypto as if it's all bad, no good actors, nobody's allowed to play in the sandbox kind of attitude. But it's a new day.
Lummis will be working closely with the Trump White House on a strategic Bitcoin reserve bill. A longtime advocate of such a reserve, Lummis had introduced legislation to create a Bitcoin reserve late last year, but now with the Republican Party ascendant, there's new life to the idea. And Paradise Valley Elementary School in Casper is the only public school in Wyoming that offers Mandarin Chinese in a dual language immersion setting where students spend half the day learning that language and the other half in English. The program has been in place since 2013. Cowboy State Daily's Dale Killingbeck spoke to proponents of the program who believe the program remains a worthwhile investment for the school district despite struggles finding teachers or any current concerns about national geopolitics involving the U.S. and China.
Well, the program is now at the place where the kids that started it are juniors in high school, and the program has been a success. Some of the students that began in the program back in kindergarten are taking college level Mandarin, not just language, but like business classes in Chinese at the University of Wyoming. And then some of the kids, I was told, are taking Spanish so that they might be able to get the bilingual designation from the state when they graduate in 2 different languages.
The district's immersion program in Spanish is similar to programs in Albany, Campbell, Laramie, and Teton counties, but Natrona County School District's immersion Mandarin option is one of just 367 Mandarin DLI schools in the nation. And that's today's news. Get your free digital subscription to Wyoming's only statewide newspaper by hitting the daily newsletter button on cowboystatedaily.com. And you can watch this newscast every day by clicking subscribe on our YouTube channel. And don't forget to drop in on the Cowboy State Daily Morning Show with Jake Nichols, Monday through Friday from 6 to 10 a.m. Thanks for tuning in. I'm Wendy Corr for Cowboy State Daily.